Um, you know, it's been a really frustrating year when it comes to showing up, specifically showing up at home. And it is a bit of a bummer that Laramie Tunsil was not at practice yesterday for the Houston Texans. So we'll keep you updated on that and whether or not he'll be back for the 3-3 Houston Texans. What else? This also big news from last night. One of Houston's most important sports names, he's not returning. He's not coming back. And I know that for some people, they're happy about this. I know others are maybe a little bit upset, but James Harden, who is boycotting Philadelphia 76ers practice, the Rockets have not traded for him, and it seems like they don't plan to trade for him. So there you go. And I think that's it. I don't really want to do any more today. I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. So that's going to wrap up the Paul Gallant Show. Big thanks to Sean Mapes behind the glass, our texters, our Twitchers, our tweeters. And I'll see you tomorrow, guys, 10 o'clock.
ESPN 97.5 and 92.5, home of Odin Finch.
Odin Finch.
I'm Odin Finch. If you missed the Paul Gallant Show this week, you missed this.
Sean, hey. I just got a text from the boss. He says that you still have an hour and 56 minutes of contractual obligations. So I guess I got to talk about the thing. I'm supporting the local arts today. I'm wearing a Dallas Sucks t-shirt. And yeah, the Texas Rangers officially ended the Houston Astros season with an 11-4 victory at Minute Maid Park last night, a game I was in attendance for. Really thankful that I drove through traffic to get there early so that my car, a rental that I now have, wouldn't get assaulted because of an overbooked lot. Really thrilled that I broke sobriety because you people wanted me to drink, thinking it would be a good luck charm. This thing was over so quick. That's the worst part. I thought that the Astros had the pitching edge last night. Christian Javier against the Twins. Christian Javier against the Rangers earlier this series. Yes, not at Minute Maid Park. He looked great in both outings. Truly, he looked great. And then last night happened. Whoa, 1 out. I mean, a late arriving crowd at Minute Maid Park. You sit down, the team's down 3-0. I'll give the crowd credit for sticking around as long as they did. And look, some of the Astros lineup actually did its job. The top of the order, 1 through 4, Altuve, Bregman, Jordan, Abreu. They went 9 for 18 last night. Rest of the lineup went 3 for 20. It is just a dead zone from 5 to 9. So when the Astros weren't able to really rally after the Rangers jumped out to that 3-0 lead, that's where my doubts set in. That's where I was wondering, wait, am I going to have to go to center field to go get my El Tiempo Good Luck Margarita a little bit earlier? Pay $75 for that due to inflation. Thanks, Biden.
How was it?
Breaking sober October, I'm not going to lie, I did enjoy it. But I felt the buzz a little bit more than I normally do.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Sean, I think if you watch the little video recaps that I did, the really short video that I did, I think you can tell that I had one margarita. And honestly, I'm a little ashamed of myself for.
You're white boy wasted?
I wasn't white boy wasted. They're just a couple of words. I watched it back. I was like, oh, damn, did I?
You're slurring?
Yeah. I think that was more the hot dogs that I ate and the vanilla Coke.
Oh, my God.
I ate like an absolute
fell
pig.
off the wagon.
Listen, it was the bigger issue of falling off the wagon was not eating healthy at Minute Maid Park. Like I had 2 hot dogs. I had 2 things of popcorn. I had 4 vanilla Cokes.
You're going to, what?
I know, the bot's
You're going to go broke.
Well, listen, shout out to the Minute Maid Park media providers of, fattening us all up. But yeah, so Javier sucked and JP France sucked. I mean, that was it. Like, France was even worse than Javier. Like, they were effed. They had no other pitchers they could use. And the lineup was not going to be able to score that many runs. So here you are. The season's over. And you want to weigh in on it on the most interactive sports talk show in Houston, 713-780-3776. I am not leading things off with Tab, but you bet your ass that Tab was the first person to call in. We're going to start off with Andy. Andy, what's going on?
Hey, I got a doozy for you. I can fix a lot of issues with the Astros next year.
Okay.
But we don't want Maldi behind the plate. We don't want him playing on the team anymore. So let's make him a bench coach. Let's take Michael Brantley. We don't want him either because his body's broken down, and make him the head coach. They've already got the respect of the players. And that's a win-win for me. What do you think?
Well, when it comes to managers, I think that we overstate their actual impact. I wouldn't be opposed to Maldonado being made manager and Brantley being the bench coach. I do think that Maldonado, when it comes to his baseball insight, he is so respected by everybody. I think he's got a little more pelts on the wall there. I know some have suggested Joe Espada, but I did see some people tweeting a little bit earlier that it's kind of interesting that he's interviewed for other jobs and he hasn't gotten it. Is this Eric Bieniemy or something like that? But the reason that we're talking about the future of the manager position is because there was a piece in The Athletic that says that Dusty Baker is going to walk away. He has not said it publicly, but he has told people close to them that this will be his last year managing. He might stick around baseball in some sort of capacity, maybe go play for a team go work with a team in California was something that was, I think, suggested closer to home, advisor role or something like that. But it seems like he's gone. I saw some people tweeting this out yesterday. Well, best news of the year. Dusty Baker's gone. Dusty Baker's not the reason that this season came to an end. It was the theme all year long. They stink at home. The pitching's not as good as it was last year. The hitting is not as good as it was last year. And 2 guys in particular, Kyle Tucker, Jeremy Pena, stunk the joint up this postseason. And here you are. Season over. And people like this guy get to call in and gloat. 713-780-3776 to call in and text in. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Tab, congratulations to you. Oh, God, you suck. You suck. Congratulations to your Texas Rangers. He's giggling right off the top. I tip the hat to you. Only you. I would bow, but I'm sitting. Congrats on your win.
Thank you very much. And I just want to ask you a sincere question. How long did it take you to get to the outfield to get your margarita?
I waited a while. There are lots of people that were peer pressuring me to go to center field to maybe jumpstart the Astros offense. And I said, nope, I am waiting until the 5th because I have faith that this thing will turn around. But right after JP France got shelled, right after that inning was done, I got immediately up and I walked there as fast as I possibly could.
Well, I have a disagreement with something you just said,
What's
and
that?
I hope you understand. You said the managerial role does not make that much difference.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a Texas Ranger team that went from 102 losses to 96 losses to now going to the World Series with Bruce Bochy as manager. The managers we had sucked.
I think it's fair to potentially say Bochy's the reason they got there. I would have you know, Tab, at his post-game presser, which I sat around for, Bochy did make it very clear, like, listen, I'm just along for the ride here. I think the Rangers did have some talent, and obviously they added to it. But you are right. Having Bruce Bochy certainly helped the Rangers out. I'm not going to act like every single decision he made in this series was perfect. I thought it took them way too long to figure out.
Oh, nor will I.
I think it took them too long to figure out about what to do with Yordan Alvarez. But that said, Tab, I thought that last night the Rangers had a very clear plan of attack on Javier, and specifically the stealing of the bases that they were doing when they were getting on base in the first inning. I think that got under El Reptile's skin, and I think that sort of led to things just really falling apart for him. I have never seen him as flustered as he looked in last night's first inning. Usually he doesn't show any visible facial emotions and stuff, but it was clear the Rangers got under his skin early on, and maybe that is Bruce Bochy that led to that.
Well, my wife and I were watching it at home, and we even remarked, look at the pitcher. He's done.
Yeah.
He's already done.
Yeah, it was quick and easy.
But I do want you to
hit me.
Well, we had to earn it, though. We had to do our part, and we did.
Yeah.
And I do have a suggestion for Houston, and this is going to be my biggest gig. I was going to lead off with singing "We Are the Champions," but no, I'm going to leave that alone. But they are to, I don't know what, I know NRG is a company of some kind, petroleum, whatever. But I think they are to give it a true name. It's now Rangers Ground.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't really work. Tab, we love you, but we're just gonna end it with that. Oh, that giggle is just painful.
I had to get one gig in. I'm going to.
Hey, listen, you deserve it. You deserve it. You've been calling in all year long, ever since May when you first called in to talk a little trash. And guess what? This season-long battle is over, and you are the victor. So I guess we'll see you next year, and I hope you stay listening to the show, Tab.
Of course, I will. Each game the Rangers win in the series.
Oh God, just stop.
We don't need to.
Just stop,
we'll
Tab.
talk about it.
Tab, we love you, but
Yeah, Tab.
Get away. We're not. We're done. We're done with baseball. Like, baseball sucks. We're over it. We've moved on.
Okay.
Tab, we appreciate you,
what
man.
About,
no.
What are you gonna talk next? Basketball or football?
I don't know. We're figuring it out, man. Okay, we're figuring it out. Leave us alone.
You had your whole morning planned to talk about baseball, didn't you?
No. Well, listen, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure out a way to talk about, like, my dating life or me being a drunk, something like that. We're gonna get away from this. But Tab, appreciate you calling in as always. Oh God, that cackle. Just Sean, hang up. God, I can't. He was wrong. I think he should probably have said Minute Maid. I think that's what he was going for there, because NRG is where the Texans play. Remember when Minute Maid Park used to be Enron Field? You know what's sad? Like, given how bad they were at home this year, like, this ballpark being nicknamed Enron Field still would be better than what we saw from the Astros this year at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah.
Can we rebrand it back to Enron Field?
You would take them being called Enron Field,
yes,
but being capable of winning games there?
Yes. I know a lot of people in Houston, you got affected by Enron, and obviously the worst thing that probably has ever happened financially in this city. But at the same time, I mean, can we win a game at home? Like, if it means being Enron Field again, really just, like, lean into being the villainous organization. Like, can we? Orange juice sucks anyway.
The 2-2 on the way to Young. Set up outside, and he threw it by him. A fastball at 90 that he swung at and missed. So Maton does get the job done in relief. And relief is the right word, given the nightmare that Christian Javier just experienced.
Easy, Ravage.
It was only 3-0 at that point.
Yeah. Phil Maton stepped up.
It got much worse after that, Ravage.
Shout out to Phil Maton. He showed up last night. That was a pretty big spot to come into. I still thought they had a chance then. And then Alex Bregman went. Altuve doubled the first pitch, and you saw him score. It's 3-1. I'm like, oh, okay, they're gonna chase Scherzer, so it's gonna be fine. And then, of course, the 5 through 9 of the order happened, and that was it. Anyway, it's the most interactive sports talk show in Houston. Let's read a couple of comments. Lone Ranger 614 says, today is the worst day for the rest of our lives. No, we are not. We are not adopting a negative mindset as people. These things happen in life. Life is suffering. Today is the best day of the rest of your life. It's all about how you make plans for the rest of your fall, the rest of your October, maybe Halloween plans. Spin Zone, we all get to be proper degenerates on Halloween, you know?
I know you were worried about that. You're worried about how the World Series would affect your
first world problems.
Halloween. Yeah. I was thinking, like, this is my mom's birthday is later this weekend.
Nice. You get to celebrate it with her.
Yeah, I was like, this is probably the first time the Astros haven't played on my mom's birthday in I don't know how long.
It's been a while since the Astros haven't been playing the last weekend of October. So it's not the worst day for the rest of your lives. Man, Bear, Pig, and Cypress says, I want to kill myself, Paul. No.
in the words of Homer Simpson, this isn't the worst day of your life. It's the worst day of your life so far. All right? Yeah. Positive mindset.
Because the rest of the day is actually going to be the best day of your life. You woke up, you showed up to work.
Well, maybe. We don't know that. We showed up to work.
You tried to show up to work.
You're listening to us right now.
You called in sick to your boss. That's basically showing up to work. Some more comments because Tab, when he called in to roast us, said that the Astros are playing at NRG Stadium. Grinding on coffee and whiskey comments. If the Astros played at NRG, they most likely would have won. And also people are suggesting, like I suggested, maybe rename Minute Maid Park Enron Field. Bring back that crackhead mascot, Junction Jack. Is that why there's no Junction Jack anymore? Bring back general admission in his cannon. Bring back Tal's Hill. Install a trampoline in right field for Kyle Tucker. Yeah, that would work. All right, guys. This is the big news of the day for the Astros. Dusty Baker, at his post-game press conference, was asked about his future with the organization. Here's what he had to say.
I don't know. I haven't had time to evaluate or think about my future because, I'm down the list as far as, like I'm not that kind of dude. I don't want to steal a spotlight or anything from these guys. You got to savor what we did. You got to think about how we can get better. And then I'll evaluate my situation in my life. We'll see. I'll talk to my daughter. I got 2 grandsons, a year and a half. I've really sort of cheated them for my quest for another ring. I got 2 dogs, hunting dogs, a year old. They wouldn't even know me when I walk in the house because I haven't been home since February the 10th. Anybody here been away from home that long? You have? Wow.
Absolutely, 225 days a year.
Wow. I don't want your job.
That was Jeremy Booth of KHOU, who was nodding along because Jeremy Booth used to work in the front office of a baseball organization. Over the course of that press conference, you heard Dusty make reference a couple of times like, look, they just beat us, which they did. This has been an incredible run for the Astros, which it has been and theoretically will continue to be. And he also said that we've brought this city a lot of happiness. I do think, as brought up by one of the commenters, I think this is a Twitcher, RLM forever. Come on, people. 7 straight years in the LCS. Don't become the Atlanta Braves fans. I do think you have to appreciate how good this run has been. Instead of jumping down the throat or jumping all over Dusty Baker. Think about this. No division winner has advanced to the World Series. None. Right now, we're going to figure out between these 2 wildcard teams, the Diamondbacks and Phillies, who moves on. The Rangers, who did not win the division, are on to the World Series, obviously. I know this is somewhat of a spin zone, but it's an incredible run. And I think with Dusty Baker potentially leaving, as he said in a piece in The Athletic, he's expressed to multiple people inside and outside of the Astros organization, 2023 will be his final season as a manager. I don't think you pin this on Dusty for this year not being up to snuff. You could say maybe they weren't as focused all season long, and that's why the home struggles existed, and you could point at the manager for that. But to me, you're a professional, and you've been on this Astros team for a while. Do you need a manager to remind you that this is really hard and that you need to be, focused? I don't think so.
Yeah, and I don't know. So it's a lot. The home struggles all year have been just so illogical that I really do just chalk it up to that's baseball. Baseball, just weird stuff happens some baseball years where I don't know. The Padres this year just didn't win a one-run game all year. Didn't win an extra inning game all year, and they almost made the wild card still. There's just weird stuff happens like this. Dusty Baker, I mean, if this is Dusty's last year, I mean, you do have to look back and all the criticism and stuff that he got, all the traction that talking heads like us got from questioning all this stuff. His playoff runs ended up being lose ALCS Game 7, lose a World Series, win a World Series, lose an ALCS Game 7. That is insanely good.
Right.
He is 100% right when he says that any other team would trade for the last 3 years of Houston Astros baseball.
100%. And the question I have, and I know a lot of people are out with the knives and the torches and the pitchforks, especially now smelling blood in the water that Dusty is potentially gone. Realistically, in this series, what could he have done differently? I saw some people suggest, they should have started Justin Verlander. That was never going to happen. They weren't going to start Justin Verlander for Game 7. They might have used Justin Verlander if the game continued, but that's pretty skeptical. The only thing I can think of is that they could have played Yainer Diaz more during the regular season. Legitimately it. I know there was also some talk about playing Chas McCormick a little bit more in the regular season. You, I guess, could also argue that they should have put in Yainer Diaz when the game really started to get out of hand. Maybe you put him in a couple of innings before you eventually put him in. But with how bad Javier was last night, there was no one else to put on the mound. And at the very least, he knew the right guys to put at the top of the lineup. The bottom of the lineup stunk. Kyle Tucker, Jeremy Pena, those were guys that you could go up and go take a leak, get a drink. Those guys were a waste of your time this series.
I mean, McCormick wasn't much better either.
Correct.
He had more. I mean, he wasn't as bad as those guys, but when it was bad, it was awful for Chad. When he was up there, he was lost.
Right. And I mean, Dubon had some decent moments. He didn't play last night.
Yeah, Dubon was all right.
But the bottom of the order stunk. What was Dusty supposed to do there? And he's going to be the sacrificial lamb, although it seems like there's been a mutual agreement for him to just walk away from the Astros now at the end of the year.
He's also 72.
And he seems tired of this too. You know what? Maybe there was something to be said about him on a day-to-day basis. Maybe he had some regrets about coming back. All I know is that it's hard to believe that this guy is the reason that the season came up short. And I know there's some people out there that are celebrating this, and I just don't think that looks good, personally. What has Dusty Baker done that's so bad? I honestly don't think there's been anything that you point at the finger at Dusty and say, you're the reason that this team underachieved. Again, 4 straight LCS appearances, 2 World Series appearances, 2 ALCS Game 7 losses, and a World Series loss to the Braves in 6. Are you mad at him for that? It's kind of naive to expect in baseball, where we have not seen a repeat title since the turn of the century. It's naive to expect that teams are just going to do this every single year. This isn't a video game. It's hard. And it's lame to say all of that, but I will miss Dusty Baker next year. I don't think that a new manager necessarily makes things better. In fact, I think it actually perhaps consolidates power for either Dana Brown or those at the top of the organization. And I think that Brown, Crane, Bagwell, without Jeff Luhnow, without James Click, I still think they have to earn our trust. I do. It's not to say I think we're going to do bad, but I don't really know how to predict whether or not they'll be successful at this moment in time where we don't have that much of a track record. Until the end of this regular season, a lot of the moves that the Astros made, specifically the Jose Abreu one, didn't look good.